Okay, are you ready for more wedding trivia? It's that time. This is my update for something old, something new, something gifted, something blue. And of course, there's going to be some wedding trivia. I found something that didn't make me cringe this time. Something to look forward to. Okay, before I get into all of the good stuff, please do all the things. You know all the things. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things. As always, I do appreciate it. Thank you for spending your time with me. So, this project is the project that Jessica created for Misty as a small project combining old and new products. So, it's a 4-item project. It is an old, a new, a gifted item, and a blue item. Pretty simple. And the hashtag, of course, is oldnewgiftedblue. It is something that started January 24th. It's rolling style, monthly updates, does not have an end date. There's no sign up, no spreadsheet, nothing like that. Just make sure you use the hashtag because I know that everybody's kind of just following each other that way. So you pick your 4 products, you set your own goals, and have a good time with it. That's basically the important stuff. As usual, all the deets are below. The channels are linked. You know what I do. So, first things first, let's talk about my last month's items. I had, for my old, the Rebecca Minkoff perfume, and it's empty. So we got another empty, which is nice. That started at 18.5 grams, and I used all of it. For the new, I had pulled in my Tarte, what was this called? Jelly Glaze in, it's the Anytime Lip Mask in Strawberry Jelly. I have about 1 use on this. Now, I'm filming this Friday night. I was at the hockey game, so I'm doing this a little bit late. This is what it looks like when it rains, and I've been in it all day. But I only have about a use left. So when you see this on Monday, this will be gone. So we're going to just count that as an empty, and I'll throw it on before I go to sleep tonight. My gifted item was my NYX Pore Filler Primer, and I actually didn't finish this. I started at 16.9 grams. I'm at 8.7, but I mean, there's so very little left in that. I'm still going to roll in another item because this is going to be gone, and I'll show it to you next month. No big deal. I've been keeping it in my roller, so that's why it looks the way it does. My blue item was the Moroccan Oil Volumizing Mist. And this was a 20 milliliter bottle. I used it all up. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if it actually did anything. I don't know. I really don't know. My hair has volume, so I've got no opinion on that one. I used it. I don't know if I used it correctly. I don't know if it did anything, but I used it. So that is last month's stuff. So let's get to the trivia because that's the fun part of this whole thing for me. For some reason this time, I went with bridal showers. Not entirely certain why. And honestly, for someone who loves makeup and skincare as much as I do, I am the world's worst girly girl. I never really enjoyed baby showers, bridal showers, all that kind of stuff. But I do see the point of them. So I was kind of wondering about how this started, what this was. Now, this one, to get it correctly, and I will cite all my articles below too. A bridal shower, the definition is, a bridal shower is a daytime event in celebration of the bride's upcoming marriage. Traditionally, it's an opportunity for guests to give the couple gifts for the home. Now, that came from Bridal Shower Etiquette 101. Everything you need to know. It's an article written by Jamie Mackey. So that is a direct quote. So I didn't realize that it was a daytime thing. I know they're usually held in the afternoon, but I really didn't realize it was specified. So, okay, that's what it is now. Now, how this started, there's a little bit of vagueness to some of this, but I think probably because it kind of became an oral thing or a folklore thing that was passed along. So, almost everything I have found says 16th century Holland is the origination of what is now the bridal shower. Now, I found one thing that said 1860, and that wouldn't be the 16th century. So I don't know. We're going to go with 16th century. We're just going to assume that's correct. But specifically, Brussels, Belgium is supposed to be where this actually started. The story goes, the Dutch tell the story that there was a young high society woman, girl, whatever, who fell in love with either a miller or the son of a miller. I have found two different references on that. So it has something to do with somebody that was a miller, because usually the son would take over the father's business. So I'm not sure if it was the actual miller or if it was the miller's son training to be the next miller, whatever. Okay, but now he did not amass enough wealth to be considered of the same class as this young lady. So her father did not approve. She fell in love with him. Dad didn't approve. Dad actually wanted her to marry the wealthy pig farmer who was of the same class, had enough wealth, and said that if she did not marry his choice, he would not pay her dowry. Now, this is where it gets a little bit fuzzy. So what ended up happening is that either the villagers got together because they liked the miller because he had shown kindness to them, and so to support them because the people of the community liked him, or it was her friends, people that liked her and wanted to support her and her choice of husband. They got together and brought her little gifts, things to help her set up her home, to kind of make up for the fact that she wasn't going to get the dowry. And it is rumored that all of the gifts, when totaled up, actually would have been more than what her dowry was. Now, there's a happy ending to this story, and I don't know, because I only found this in one source, so I don't know if this is true, but it's rumor has it that the father was so moved by what the community had done in support of his daughter that he then did finally approve her union. I don't know if that means he gave her the dowry or not, but at that point she probably didn't need it. So that basically is how it started, according to what the sources say. And that's pretty common. I mean, I found about 5 articles and they all kind of said the same thing. So this probably is somewhat based in fact. Now, the thing that is interesting is there are also a couple of other stories. So that is probably the oldest one, or the one that has the most backing as far as written records of it or oral tradition passed down, however it came to be. But there's a second story that says that ladies in Victorian times in the upper classes used to get together with the bride-to-be, and they would spoil her by bringing her little notes and gifts and things like that, and they would get together, they would eat, and they would gossip. The thing that they liked to talk about was what the bride-to-be's new role was going to be as a wife. Okie dokie. Now, this is the part that kind of leads into the shower thing. So the story with this section is that there was the women that would show up for these things would take their little notes or their little gifts or whatever, and they would put them in a paper parasol. And there's one reference that I read that said that they would then take the parasol and like dump it over the bride's head. That does not sound fun. That sounds like it could end up being painful, but nonetheless, that was the whole, they were showering the bride with gifts and well wishes and, notes of encouragement, things like that. There's a third story. And this one's really cute, and I have no idea if there's any truth to this at all. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, I find different articles, but it's not like I can verify any of these things. Third story says that there was a young woman who couldn't afford to get a wedding gift for her friend. And so what she did was she gathered all of the bride-to-be's other friends and asked them all to bring something small, got them all together, and then presented the bride-to-be with all of these little gifts. And that was her way of giving her friend something in lieu of an actual wedding gift because she couldn't afford to do it. Kind of an interesting thing, because you kind of wonder, why do you get together to do a bridal shower to give the bride gifts when they're going to get wedding gifts? So that's where that third story kind of comes into play. Now, there are a few other weird facts that I found. So, of course, I'm going to share them with you because if I know it, you get to know it. I don't know what possesses me, and I don't know why this became my gimmick, but it kind of seems to be, so here you go. Now, in medieval England, there was a thing called bride ale. I'm going to put the word up here for what else it was called because I can't pronounce that, and I'm not even going to attempt it because I'm going to sound like a moron if I do. This is referenced in Langdon's Piers Plowman. That is not something that I am well versed in, even with knowing some things about literature, but there's a reference to a feast held before the wedding day on which the bride had made ale, and then at that feast she sells the ale to the guests at a higher or a high price or whatever, and that's how she earns the money then to set up her household. Kind of interesting. Now, for the most part, this whole concept kind of became a substitution for a dowry, and that's pretty widely acknowledged. In the US, in the Victorian era, this was a very upper echelon thing where the women would get together to gossip, exchange gifts and thoughts on the bride's role and all that stuff, and they would place the things in the parasol and shower them, like I had mentioned in the other part of the story. But it says that this became simpler when they started doing it with useful household gifts. So it morphed kind of from like small tokens to and notes and things like that to small gifts, which would be a lot of times it's linens or kitchen items or things like that, which is what has followed through today. Now, the first recorded use of the term bridal shower is actually attributed to Grand Rapids, Michigan Evening Press, June 4th, 1904. And the reference actually is kind of derogatory. The quote has something to do with, through mistaken hospitality, the couple are forced to attend this event. I thought, well, that's kind of negative. The whole point of this is to do something nice for the bride. So I don't know that it's mistaken hospitality, but that's how the article was written, which I thought was kind of interesting. Somebody had a crabby day, apparently. By the 1930s, this started to spread through the middle and lower classes in rural areas also. The urban areas, they say it started about 1890s. By the 1930s, it had spread to the outlying, to the countryside, to that kind of thing. And there used to be, especially in the U.S., there used to be a hope chest. And I haven't looked into that. That may end up being a topic further down the road. But this idea is said to possibly replace the hope chest. And from what my understanding is, and like I said, I may look into this further at some point, the hope chest was basically where a young girl would start embroidering pillowcases and towels and different things like that and put them into the wooden hope chest, which you guys know what a hope chest is. That's not something that's so outdated you haven't heard of it. And that was the stuff that she would bring into her marriage with her. Now, the things that are being given as gifts, if they're household items, aren't necessarily the same. Well, I mean, they can be the same as what's in the Hope Chest, but it almost seems to be a more expanded idea of the things that would have traditionally been in a Hope Chest. And I don't know that one concept supplanted the other or if both things coexisted at some point. Like I said, I didn't go too far down that. These videos get long enough without me doing that. Okay, so what this, the takeaway for what this is today is that basically, because dowries don't exist and blah, 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 whatever, being based on the traditional story of the woman who fell in love and wanted to marry her choice, the concept of the bridal shower is to affirm the woman's right to marry the man of her choosing. Thus the bridal shower. Okay, so that's what I have for trivia for you for this today. So now let's move into what I am adding in for this month. I literally have like a dozen Post-it notes stuck to my table in front of me for this. So skipping over all of that now that we've done this, I pulled some stuff out to do this month's items and then realized that I ended up in a weird place. So you guys are just going to have to cut me a little slack on this, but let's start with what my old is. My old is a Tree Hut Sugar Lips, and this is it's a lip scrub, and I want to say it's brown sugar something, but it doesn't say on it. I know it's brown sugar because that's what it tastes like. There's very little left in here. So, I mean, this is definitely my older item, and this is getting kind of icky. So I need to finish it up. We're at 18.6 grams, according to my scale, without the cap. And that's a pretty thick plastic container. So there's really not very much product left in there. My new item may have gotten a bit carried away. I decided, because I had gotten in January, so this is still counting as new because I haven't touched it and I got it in January, I got the vanilla perfume sampler from Sephora. So it is the sample of Juliet Has a Gun, and these are all just the normal little spray size. So this one is Vanilla Vibes. It has Valentino's Donna Born and Roma. It has Floral Street Wild Vanilla Orchid is that one. It has the Atelier Cologne in Vanilla Intense, and this one, it just came in a plain white nothing, so that's not really fun to look at. The Mason, I don't know how to say it. I'm going to put that up here too because I don't know how to say this word. But this is Paris. So this is the replica of By the Fireside. And you guys have probably seen this, maybe, hopefully. There is a Nest fragrance in Madagascar Vanilla Perfume. And then there is the Seven Virtues Vanilla Woods. I'm hoping you guys can see all of these. I mean, they're just the little sampler cards. It's not anything super exciting. There was a Victor and Ralph Flower Bomb. I gave that to my sister. I know I can't handle that when it's too strong for me. So that's just not even on my radar. But there's also another sample of the Yves Saint Laurent Black Opium, which was in the bigger perfume sampler that they did for the VIB sale in November. And I like this, but I'm still deciding between a couple of things. So if there's something in here, maybe I'll get this with the other one. If there's nothing in here that really strikes my fancy, maybe I'll get this one from here and get the other one from that. I don't know yet. So I want to go through all of these and figure out what it is I really want, because I have a lot of perfume samplers here. And these, like I had mentioned before, these things only last me a couple of days. They don't, I mean, it doesn't take me long to go through them. At most, I might get 3 uses, but I can get through this in a month. I don't think that's going to be too tough for me. So that is what I'm counting as my new, because I have got to make a decision on these things and actually turn in my certificates to get my full sizes. So get that out of the way. And this is where you need to cut me slack. For the blue, I picked the Tatcha Dewey Serum. This is no, I forgot my gifted. Sorry, my gifted is a NYX Dewey spray. This is 29.4 grams. It is 0.6 ounces, 18 milliliters. And it's just a setting spray. It's the Dewey finish spray. So I've got the matte, the Dewey, and something else. It was a little 3-pack thing that came when you spent so much with NYX, you got all of them. But no, my blue. My blue is my screwy part. I went with the Tatcha Dewey Serum. This is a 5 gram, 0.17 ounce thing. And when I looked at this, I thought it was blue. It kind of looks blue for what you're seeing, but depending on what light I'm in, it's violet. So we're going to go with it's a blue-purple. We're going to count that as my blue. What can I say? I wanted to try the serum. I haven't really tried any of the Tatcha stuff, and I'm at a point where I can add another serum in, so I wanted to get this in there, so I thought, oh yeah, it's blue. I'll just throw it in. No big deal. Okay, so I think I have given you, aside from the perfume samplers, there's no point weighing that. You know what those are. I gave you weights on everything. I've got my 4 items. I told you what was going on with the old ones. This one I will finish up, and it will be included with my empties in my next update, since I didn't actually manage to finish it this time. And this is the first one that I actually haven't been able to finish in a month. So I'm kind of impressed that this lasted that long, because this, I really do like this. This actually, the product itself is kind of, let's see if you can, I don't know if you can actually see that, but it's peach in color. And that's nice for me because that's a little bit color correcting, and this, which I'm sure you can see fairly well tonight, it does help balance that out just a little bit. And this is what I've been mixing with that stupid whatever concealer that I am still working on in Deck of Panning. Oh, it's never ending. So I'm going to finish this off with, hopefully get rid of more of that, and that is everything. I'm babbling. I don't think I know anything else. I think that is going to be everything. Yeah, that's it, you guys. Hopefully you enjoy this. Thank you for considering doing all of the things. I got nothing. So until next time, see ya. Bye.